agoraphobia. If you or someone you know suffers from these panic attacks, you should know there is hope. You can recover. And here to tell us just how and their stories, the director of the group Agoraphobics in Motion, we have Mary Ann Miller-Gogoleski, and group member and recovered agoraphobic, we have Cheryl Moskal. Very good to have you here today. And am I correct in the sense that there's probably no way to really put a number on how many agoraphobics are out there?
There's a lot of them, but I can tell you that it is the #1 mental health problem that has even surpassed alcoholism and depression. And so we're talking about millions of people. And the last estimate I heard in the Detroit metro area is 250,000 people. And of course, they all have it to varying degrees. You know, most people think of agoraphobia as someone who is housebound, who does not want to go out the door, and that is really rare.
That's the most severe.
Yeah, most agoraphobics are really quite functional. They can go out, they have a job, they can do anything they want to do, but they avoid some things, and the things that they avoid are the things that bring on the panic, you know, the palpitations, the blurred vision, the wobbly legs. And I won't go on anymore, or we'll all get it.
Now you are both. Cheryl, you are recovered, and Mary Ann, you too. You formed the group Agoraphobics in Motion, and you've been campaigning for agoraphobics all through Metro Detroit for a long time.
5 years.
Tell me, Cheryl, your story. When did agoraphobia enter your life, and how?
Actually, as a child, I remember having a few isolated incidents of anxiety, and not until after the birth of my second daughter 11 years ago did it really get full-blown. And I did not become housebound, but I had like a constant anxiety. And I quit driving, quit shopping. I did nothing alone.
What would happen when you were shopping? Why did you quit shopping? Well,
at first you think there's something wrong with you, because inside you just start, like Mary Ann described, your heart starts beating and you start breaking out in a cold sweat, and you're very nervous. I'm trying to think right offhand. It's thank goodness it doesn't happen very often anymore. But it just really is something that's very hard to explain, because the symptoms vary between people.
And you can never predict when they're going to happen?
No, sometimes you don't get a warning.
It's really difficult for me to even describe to people what the panic attack feels like. I mean, if someone could come up with the most devastating, worst feeling that they could, you know, think of, then that would be it. But I have yet to come up with that word. It's terrible. Just, but it's more than terrible. Devastating. And, you know, people that write to us say it's hell, and perhaps that's a really good word to use.
Yeah, particularly knowing that it's always hanging over your head, so you don't know where you're going to be and what you'll be doing when that happens.
That's right. You never know when it's going to happen, and that's where the anticipation comes into it. You're always anticipating, well, is it going to happen here? And if it happened in the grocery store, it could happen in Hudson's, and we don't know why.
It's easy to see how someone in the extreme case could become a prisoner within their own four walls at home and just decide it's easier just to stay here and have the rest of the world run errands for you and do for you. You really would need quite a support system, wouldn't you?
Yes, you become an excellent liar. You say, well, I'm sick, I don't feel like it, I've got this wrong, you go to the grocery store, or you take the kids to school, or you know, do any errands that I have to do. And you always make up some really wonderful excuse as to why, because, see, most people don't understand. You know, if I went up to somebody and I said, I can't do this because I'm too nervous, they go, well, wait a minute.
Come on.
Everybody gets nervous. You put one foot in front of the other and you just go. And yet we're talking about something that is really more difficult, so that when people call our office, they'll say, oh, thank God, someone understands. And although support people try to understand, I don't think that anyone understands as well as someone who has been through it. And that, of course, is where the whole support group comes to be really effective. And I really think, as the Surgeon General says, that support groups are the wave of the future. This is where you're going to get your recovery from someone who's been there.
Well, because if I was going through this and then I could talk to Cheryl and have Cheryl say, hey, 2 kids and I still, you know, couldn't tackle certain situations. Is there a risk profile? Is there a type of person who might be more women than men, for instance, more inclined to suffer agoraphobia?
Well, that's interesting. They say that it's more women than men, and yet I think that what happens is that men deal with this kind of anxiety with alcohol, so that you would find a lot of agoraphobics that are men in AA or something like that, although typically it's been known as the women's disease, you know, which, you know.
And that's really, that could really tend to trivialize it.
Well, and for the most part, I think women have an easier time staying home. I mean, the little woman, you know, cook dinner and take care of the kids, and so they don't have that need to go out and be the breadwinner. So that men, you know, but we do have several men in our groups.
Let's talk about hope. The fact that you're both sitting here, in fact, what the #1 fear when people are polled is public speaking, and you're doing it here on live television. So the recovery can be had. How do you go about it? What did you do, Cheryl?
Well, I went for therapy, and it helped some, but they weren't able to really tell me what it was I could do. They'd say, well, you just go do it. Whatever you're afraid of, just go. Well, if I could do that, I would have recovered on my own.
Yeah.
So what I heard on the radio a couple years ago about this group, the support group, so I did go. I joined last August, and when I did join, I had started to do some things on my own, but I did not drive. I did not go anywhere alone. So since then, I am now able to drive again, and have been like 10 years, and I can go to places alone. And we have a set of tools that we use that help us relaxation, goal setting, and the 12-step program, which is adapted from AA, and they work terrific. They just work terrific.
Someone who could be watching and says, boy, that's my life, just like you did when you heard the word of the group on the radio. What number would they call?
They would call 547-0400.
And that's Agoraphobics in Motion, A.I.M.
That's right.
And do you think it's just the process of talking to other people who have been through this that helps get it out into the open and say, hey, I went through that and here's what I did?
I think that's the initial move, is to talk to someone else and to be able to relate to them. But I think the second thing is to know that there is hope, there is recovery, and you need to take action to do that.
Don't just sit home and look at the walls and wish your life was different. And this is the group to call.
That's
well,
right.
Mary Ann, you've done a lot of work for Agoraphobics, and hopefully someone's watching today and will do the same thing Cheryl did and give you a call. Thank you for joining us today. Agoraphobics in Motion. And if you missed that number, you can call us here at TV-50 because we have it for you. Stay with us. We'll wrap up.